because I feel like good stuff will come through. And we will just wait on the one clue blurs. So how are you?
I am. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Wonderful.
The hair is looking fabulous.
Thank you. I had to let it down tonight.
Yes. But wait, can we talk about how
last week
your niece was like, why is Auntie Sarah hair like that? As they were watching last week.
Not the babies. The babies wasn't messing around. They wasn't feeling it.
What's going on with her hair? I said it's called a doobie wrap. I need y'all to understand these things.
I had just come out the hairdresser. The doobie was just right. I had to leave it. I couldn't take it down because I can't replicate that.
Yeah, it's hard.
I can't replicate that. So I was like, nah. It is. So it was perfect. I'm gonna leave it right where it is. I took the scarf off and I put them headphones on and we made it do what it do.
Hello.
Sorry.
Are we getting this? Oh,
hey.
Right. Wait, hold up. Where's the suit?
Today was a work day. Okay, I had things to do.
Because you look like a hacker.
You got this. You're getting this. You're getting.
We're talking cybersecurity.
Well, analytics, machine learning. I'm in the mode. I'm in the zone.
You're in the zone. Okay. Well, welcome back. It's another Ask Serena Live After Show. We've made it to a second show. We're being consistent. I feel like this is good. I feel like there's momentum, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited. I didn't get the time wrong. I was like ready at 9 and not 10 as Central Time. Like last year.
So like we should let's just talk about your last year. I'm proud of you. I really am. I'm proud of you this year. I feel like you're making some forward movements because I had this guy's support for like years, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, you were on? No, I was on at like 9 o'clock, bruh. Eastern Standard Time. I understand that you're a Southerner now. I get this. I sincerely do. But you're from New York.
Listen. You gotta embrace the culture. And what was killing me last year was I would be ready to go like 9 or 10 on Wednesday night. And
that was the other piece.
Yeah, and I would sit there and I'm like clicking, like, what? We just not going live, Janine? This is just not a thing? And then I text you feeling super righteous and fiery and spicy, and I would play myself. But
every time.
It worked out.
Every time.
Without fail. Or I would get on at 11 and I guess 10 my time. It just... it was a lot.
So let's look at it in the positive. You were you were the ghost of time past, urging me and pushing me towards a new time. I just didn't see it. So now I'm at 10 p.m. So all is well in the world. Yeah.
This is what I was living in the future. That's all. I saw the vision. I'm glad you caught it. There we go.
See, there's always an upside. I gotta give you shit, and then I gotta smooth it out because
I appreciate it. Get looking now.
So, guys, I feel like we did introductions last week about how we all met, but I want you guys to kind of just tell everybody who you are and who you represent real quick, and then we'll just hop into some commentary.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Sarah Morgan. I am the Chief Excellence Officer of Buzzaroonie LLC, which is a human resources management consulting firm. I do blogging at the Buzz on HR. I'll be launching a podcast called Leading in Color in about 3 weeks. And then I also do consulting and speaking and writing pretty much, I feel like, everywhere right now. So connect with me at the Buzz on HR on all social medias. That's the way to find me. And yeah, that's it about me.
Strong J. Yes.
I love that. Chief Excellence Officer. I like this dope. Okay, I'm Dr. Paul McNeil. This is professional, so I'm gonna share my professional Twitter, which is at Usable Set Guy, founder of NV Usable Security, and we create usable security and integrate security solutions that use machine learning, as well as integrate with your marketing plan so that you can be secure and make revenue. And that's it for what I'm doing over here, I guess, professionally.
Okay,
then I do a lot of other side things.
The doctor's in the house.
You know, I'm trying to get into speaking. I haven't done it too much, but you know, let me know if you want something interesting. Make it happen.
Indeed. So, guys, talk to me. Where are you at on cybersecurity? What are your thoughts about where we're at with it? Which would we need to be doing? What are your issues with it?
Full disclosure, I tried to take notes like Sarah last week, so I was like, have my phone out, but I kept cutting out throughout the talk, so I may ask questions or say some stuff because I missed things.
That's why I be analog with my notes. See, I got a little sheet.
No, I mean the video. I couldn't, like, Janine, you were cutting out for me. I don't know why. It was weird. I was refreshing a million times.
I saw you guys popping on and off, but like the video was continuous, but I saw people popping on and off. So
yeah, so I was like, oh man, I was like, I had my notes, I was ready to go. I had one question. You were talking about vendors pulling something. They keep pulling something with like PII stuff, and I was like, what is she saying?
Oh yeah, so I was talking about how my experience has been that when we're implementing onboarding systems specifically, it's not so much an issue with applicant tracking systems, because really at that point we're only pulling like demographic information, the very least. But when you get to the onboarding piece, it's like that's the information you're going to use to actually hire them into the HRIS system. And so then you start getting into like social security numbers, date of births, and other things that like obviously people don't want to be exposed. And what I've found is they will encrypt at rest, but they will not encrypt in transit.
Gotcha.
And that, like, so where for the sectors where I worked in, you know, federal contractor, which is basically government. And then prior to that, healthcare. Those are highly, highly regulated industries. So at the point that we're talking RFPs and stuff, and we're going through the whole security piece, everything looks good from how they store it to what their SLAs are. Like, it's all good until we get to implementation and find out like, oh, so you're not encrypted in transit. Well, this is a problem. So now we just dropped like $500,000 on this new system, and we're having to create workarounds before we even get started in the system, or we're not in a position to actually implement at all because your IT is shutting it down. Like, no, we just can't do this. This is a risk. So I was saying, you know, vendors who want to do this on the low and just slide in the DMs and help me understand why it's come off their roadmap, because many of them had it when we first started doing the whole SaaS implementation thing, and then for whatever reason something shifted, and I don't know if that was just a security something like in general in the industry, it just came off the roadmap. And basically as a customer, you had to make a whole lot of noise about it for them to then say like, oh yeah, okay, we'll put it back on the roadmap, because now their business or your 5 or 4 year deal is on the line. And so, it's just better to tell them like, yeah, we'll put it on the roadmap, but that roadmap be like 12 months, 24 months, or never, They will string you around.
I think the roadmap is a joke. Like I it's one of the phrases I hate to hear from tech vendors the most. It's like, oh, we'll put this on our road. It is the road to nowhere. If the road is constantly recalculating, you never get where it is that you're supposed to go. And to me, it's just a way of saying, yeah, we hear you, but we don't hear you. Or we hear you, but we don't feel you. And I can't stand it. Like I can't stand it. And I just feel like, particularly in the HR tech space, we are not responsive and proactive enough in dealing with these type of issues. And the thing that I think happened with this whole encryption piece, I think you had a couple of the major players, I'm not going to name no names, but you know who they are. We had a couple of the major players who stopped doing it, and then it just trickled on down, so that the mid-levels started doing it, and then the small ones were just like, oh, we just not going to do it at all, because they probably couldn't afford to do it in the first place. So now it's become industry practice, but who authorized it in the first place? And to your point, who's going to tell the story about like why this happened that way? Because I worked in security industries as well as restaurant. And so some of our employee data, when you start dealing with point of sale systems, commingles with customer data. It's a whole different animal. And we've run into the same problem in our implementations where the data is not secure coming from one system to another, and that little transition moment. And all it takes is, one good hack. Yep. And they got everything. And I'm not going to be the one sending out memos to employees about the fact that, their data got hacked at work. No, thank you. No. So yeah, I think at some point in time, one or two of the major players in the HR tech space pulled it, because probably the maintenance of it must have got too expensive. It has to be a financial aspect as to why the decision was made. And then all the rest of them were like, oh, someone's not doing it, well then we just not gonna do it either no more.
Yeah. What say you, techie guy? I mean, what do you think?
I don't know about I don't know too much about the HR space, to be honest, in terms of
but I don't even think it's an HR thing. I'm just wondering.
I mean, I feel like people are I'm seeing it in more and more stuff. I mean, in my world, or the worlds circles I'm traveling in, just because, I mean, you're seeing a lot more HTTPS, like making sure things are transferred across the, like protocols are being used anyway. And so I don't know. I would have to, I guess, sit in on one of these meetings or something, and maybe they think you already have certain protocols in place for transferring data anyway, so them actually encrypting it in transit is unnecessary because you're already going across some secure lines. And so it seems like extra work. That would be something. Maybe some people are just doing it for the upsell, the upwork, because then you can extend that roadmap a little bit, and now you're paying a little lot more. I'm not sure. I'd have to know more about the specific situation. But I am seeing, because like, I know WhatsApp, they encrypt in transit. I think they do end-to-end encryption, and a couple others. So it's starting to come back. If it has gone away, it's starting to come back more and become expected, right? And that's something that even in like marketing space, you're seeing that you can increase, like in e-commerce, you can see that if your marketing reflects that you're using these secure practices, you actually can increase like sales and customer satisfaction, things of that nature. People are starting to become more aware of what needs to be happening with their data in terms of security, and they're demanding it.
Yeah, totally. No, so but it's interesting. I mean, they're demanding this security, but as I was kind of alluding to in the show, there's still this dissonance between behavior and what actually happens after we do what we do. So, I mean, what do you think is the solution to getting people to pay more attention to behavior? My thought is that we're just not scared of it enough yet, and it'll take something fairly catastrophic for us to wake up and realize just how much of our own data we're giving away. But that might be too doom and gloom. What say you?
I think it's a combination. So on the one hand, I think that because there hasn't been what was that Die Hard movie, the fire one, the one where there was they hacked America and shut everything down. I don't think we've had any, what do they call it, fire sale. We haven't had any, like you said, any huge catastrophic events that have affected the small person. Most of the time when we hear about these hacks, although small businesses are most likely to get hacked and within 6 months be completely shut down when they do get hacked. We only hear about Facebooks and stuff like that. So we go, hey, that's not us. That's Yahoo. I'm, Joe Smith over here. It doesn't really matter. It's not affecting me. And as long as we don't get that email, we're not too worried. But also, we're kind of conditioned almost with our hacking. So everybody is like, my identity may be stolen at some point. I'm going to get an email alert at some point. Someone's going to hack my card at some. So many things are happening now. We're almost desensitized to it anyway. And so I think in order for us to really, as a people, like really be concerned about it, we're going to have to start affecting people individually in a larger way than my identity, my credit, something like that. Like the person who gets their identity stolen is very serious cybersecurity moving forward, right? Yeah. Then the B, or the flip side to that, is from the developer and a cyber professional standpoint, I don't know that as industry professionals we think enough about the end user. So one of the things that I really focus on is like usable security and authentication. So like that's a software that I'm working on now, which is using more graphical passwords. And so we have different technologies that are in the research, but we don't see them implemented in practice in industry, either because they'll require a little bit additional work on the end user, or they'll be a little bit different. And people are lazy. People will give up privacy and security for comfort. Right? Yep. Like 9 times out of 10. So all the things exactly that you I was like, got my whole list. That's right. I was like, you're talking about reusing passwords, writing them down, weak passwords, things of that nature. Because at the end of the day, if it's easy, if it clicks in a button, if it clicks in 2 buttons, and so that's how you get a lot of these like single sign-on and stuff like that. And so, but I think that's the shift that needs to be made. Okay, we have these legacy systems. Maybe we're not able to get single sign-on. How can we have these lower tiered options that still make it easier for the end user to be safer? And so that's kind of where I focus my research and product dev on, which is how can we make it beneficial financially for consumers and easy for the end user. Because if you don't marry that intersection, you kind of get what we have now, which is a lot of people giving up too much privacy and trusting too much and being sorry afterwards, or you have people that just aren't doing anything at all, and that's also, either one is bad.
Yeah. Thoughts, Sarah?
I do not have anything to add. This is why I like to talk first on the tech issues when Paul is here, because he comes in and he takes all the goodies. It's like the kid who takes all the candy off the porch Halloween. He's that kid. He takes all the goodies. It's good though.
Yeah. No, I mean,
this is your fit.
And I got the sugar with me.
Do you really know? I can't.
I don't know why already. She said he takes all the goodies. I was like, man, I am sitting here with 2 pounds of sugar. But
all the goodies. Yeah. All the goodies.
So
I think, but yeah, this is your bag. So
this is where it needs to be. I mean, but we're just not talking about it. I don't hear it in HR. Like I was telling Paul, like the end of last year, I'm like, yeah, there's immense opportunity to just come in just on a purely educational standpoint and educate people about why half of this stuff is important. And largely because of some of what I was saying on the cast about this prevalence of, a lot of these systems going to mobile. Mm-hmm. We really have,
I mean,
like there's no way of knowing really.
Yeah, there isn't. And like I said in the comments on the show, people are absolutely screenshotting stuff, their work related emails and their work, things in the HRIS mobile. Like, no, it's happening. Trust and know and believe that it's happening every single day, several times a day. It's absolutely happening. And here's what's funny. I've seen, and I'll admit it, I'm guilty of this too. Like we encourage it. It's like, oh, we posted your benefits information, your group number for your new health benefit is posted in the app, and you take a screenshot and save it in your phone. Like, we encourage some of that stuff, again, to make it easier for the end user to be able to do that. And we don't think about the security implications of that. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, we do have to start to give more thought to that, and about what things we give access to and how we encourage employees, to do and interact with what goes on in the app versus what you do on a desktop or your work computer, because we just don't have those controls the way they did anymore. And we want to make it easy for them. We of course, as HR people, want to get out of the transactional things of having to have employees email us or call us with changes to their information. We want them to be able to do all of that stuff themselves, and we want them to be able to do it when it's convenient for them versus normal business hours that work for us. So all of that plays a factor in how this happens, and over time we get more lax and more lax, and we start realizing that there's more and more things that people can be doing on their own, and we just let the guards down, and then suddenly you open yourself up to all kinds of liabilities. And you think about that, I mean, your HRIS is, in addition to personal, just your regular personal information, there's personal health information in there, your spouse, your dependents, your beneficiaries, which is normally other members of your family. And in some cases, you have to collect social security numbers on those individuals in order to be able to update your beneficiaries if you have life insurance through your job or something like that. So it's not just your data. It's suddenly it's your kids' socials, it's your kids' birthdays. Like, suddenly all of that can have the potential to become compromised. There's just so much risk with that, and I agree, we got to be talking about it in the tech spaces. I think it would be cool for there to be like a HR hackathon to see some of these hackers in here and show how easy it is, or it's not. Like, we would hope that it would not be easy, but how easy it is or it's not to hack some of these systems. I think it will wake some people up to realizing where the risks are, and perhaps putting back in some of those safeguards that have gotten taken away, because ultimately, your work site is not Facebook. It's not. It shouldn't be that easy. And to Paul's point, we have to find the balance between making it easy for the user and protecting their data at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, and it's even stuff like, I mean, I've seen people snapping like where they sign in a building, like the actual keypad, like, it's even educating people from a new hire perspective. Like, you can't be doing that, or you can't be taking Snapchats in a patient's room.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, hi HIPAA, amongst other things. Like, just those things alone are, issues and breaches in and of itself. So yeah, but flipping it just slightly, I don't know how true it is, but what do y'all think of this 10-year challenge and the fact that there's a possibility that the government is using, or Zuckerberg's giving it away for facial recognition? Like, is this what we doing right now? Did y'all get duped? Is this the okie doke?
When you open the show talking about, is there any privacy left? And I think we're getting closer and closer to the point where there's not. And then there's the conspiracy theorist in me who argues that we have it in the first place, because it's not like government monitoring of our movements and the things that we do is new concept. It's not like, the Facebook came along. We just made it easier for them. But I mean, they were monitoring library cards back in the day. The census is a form of monitoring and tracking. So and taxes, like, all of those sorts of things. That's how they find you to know where it is that you work, all of that. So it's not like the monitoring is new. I'm more concerned. I guess I'm slightly less concerned about the government than I am who else, like the whole dark web concept. Like, who else is possibly getting access to this information? But privacy has always been a slight fallacy for us. It just has. So I can't get but so upset about it. And here's the thing with the Facebook 10-year challenge, just stuff already in there. Like, most people are taking one of the very early photos that they posted on Facebook and then, their current profile picture. That's what I did. So that was they already had that. If they were looking for it, again, I might have made it easier for them by, showing that babes don't age. Okay. But it was already in there. So all of that information, was already accessible to them. I agree. And I've started to stop myself from doing the quizzes and those sorts of things, because I definitely think that's just as great, if not a greater risk, because you have no idea who these companies are that are putting together these little quizzes. And like you said, you go put in information to find your Myers-Briggs type, and then they want to know what your grandmama maiden name was. Like, suddenly, like, all the normal security questions come, like, what you need to know that for? That don't got nothing to do with my Myers-Briggs. Right. So it's like, they're sneaking in stuff, and you're giving access to them in the process. So those sorts of things I try to be mindful about watching out for. And without being too, like, overbearing, try to remind my friends, just be careful with that kind of stuff. But the governments, they watching. And if we stop doing this, they just going to invent another way because they want to be watching. So
True.
I mean, I agree. I concur.
You concur. So I'm going to go another way. I mean, this is something that I did, and now, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I'm happy for the information I got from it, but I wonder, what all did I give away? So there's been a lot of talk too about, the surge of everybody doing the Ancestry.com stuff and 23andMe. So I'm not going to lie. I bit that, I was interested because look, I mean, yes, I'm from the West Indies. It's all good, but it's like there's a lot of stuff going on over here. So I'm just like, well, I'd like to know, like, what is it, And I mean, I've found some family. So this is positive. Like, I've connected with some people I wouldn't have otherwise. But to the point of the critics, I mean, is there about to be a Janine clone somewhere? Are they using this for stem cells and shit? Like, I don't know. What are your feelings on this? I don't know how to feel. Like, it was like after I did it and spit in the damn tube and got all happy about my results that this report came out. I'm like, damn, I really did just give them my DNA. Like, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Go ahead, Paul.
I'm torn. Cause like I don't know, when I heard it, I was like, oh, that's really cool. But my first thought was like super conspiracy theorists, and I was just like, they're getting everybody's stuff so they can figure out how to wipe people out. But that was like me. I was like, this is biowarfare. I didn't even think about cloning. Like, that was my first thought. It was like, and now we can figure out what a majority or a certain population has. But I don't know. I haven't done any research into it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't done it though.
I mean, for all it's worth, I'm blackity black with spots of all sorts of things. So I guess if they're trying to white, I guess I'll just be going back to the motherland. Basically, I'm that black.
Yeah,
they'll just ship me back.
See, and that's my thing. So I want to, I need, you know, me being on the lighter scale of Blackness, I I feel like I need to prove, you know, I want to know. And then I also feel like I need to put a stamp on a percentage of my Wakandan heritage, to make sure, you know, I can get in when the time comes.
This
So
is
for
what I
that
was
reason,
after.
yeah, for that reason, you know, they don't let a lot of light skinned people in Wakanda, so I got to make sure my papers are orderly. So yeah, I definitely am super curious about it. My husband and I joke all the time because I'm like, I bet if I took ancestry DNA, I'm really blacker than you. Like, you don't know, I really am. But yeah, I'm not. I'm just. There's been so much coverage about it, and there just seems to be this kind of air of mystery about what they do with your samples and your data after it's all over. I need them to clean that up a little bit before I'm willing to give up the goods. My mom did it though. My mom did. She found a cousin from, you know, that she did not know existed,
Super cool.
because yeah, well, my grandfather, my mother's father, he was one of 9. Very, very fair skinned, but he had several brothers and sisters who passed, and they had, you know, lost touch with them because they became white people socially and could not associate with their family anymore. And so she found cousins through that she didn't know existed. So that was a super cool experience, to be able to, you know, reconnect with those people. One of them was shocked to find out that there was Black people in their family, so that didn't work out too well. But but in the other instances, yeah, that you can. We'll
I just
talk
keep
about
thinking
that.
about
That's
that.
a whole nother. That's a whole nother.
That's
show.
a whole
I
show.
Like
Whole nother.
so. I feel
We're
like
gonna
we
talk
could we
about
could do
that
a
on
whole
our
nother show
Instagram.
on Black that.
On just that.
And I feel like
that.
I want a conspiracy theorist show where we just throw out all the. I feel like I see y'all. I see y'all. Y'all are my people.
I love it.
We're gonna talk
Yeah,
about some conspiracies. But seeing as though we have like 8 minutes left before Zoom kicks us off, I should definitely answer Paul's question. So, what was your question to me on the show, sir, with regard to my eyeshadow and smokes and?
Oh, I was joking. Okay. All right. So what happened? I got on.
We good?
I got on, and you were talking like super excited about this pothead makeup line. And then you were like, but I'm not a pothead. And Sarah was like, come through and smile. I was just like, okay. And then you were like, well, I'm not a pothead. I was like, that sounds like somebody who got a bunch of edibles in the house trying to play like she not about that life. But that's cool.
So firstly, I need you to be all up out my business. I'm going to get Sister Girl. Get out my business. Don't be putting my shit on Front Street. You and thank you.
Hit dogs will holler, won't they?
Paul, like, how he know my life?
I did it. Hit dogs will holler, though.
So, I mean, shortly, I was one of those kids that was like, I don't do any of this. My dad's a narcotic detective. He'll know. So that was my adolescence. I just never, ever indulged in any of these things. But now I'm good and grown, and New York State is on its way to legalizing. So I am not a pothead, but in the realm of conspiracies, I've always found it very interesting that the U.S. has patents on cannabis for a plethora of things that would help people, but we're pumping them with pharma shit, right? And so this was the time that I just kind of rewired everything in my head. Like, wait a minute, why would we have a patent on something that's absolutely horrible? Like, why would we? And so.
No, I think they spent all this, the conspiracy theorist in me says they've spent all this time. I think it's a combination of two things. It's my own conspiracy theory. I think it's a combination of two things. I think they took those patents and they spent time developing things and the oils and all of that kind of stuff so that they could figure out how they could grow weed in America that's as strong as the weed that comes from other countries, because the really good weed comes from places where Black and brown people are, and we're not going to let Black and brown people get us so rich. So it took them time to be able to do that. I think we're crossing that threshold, and now they're like, all right, let's go ahead and legalize. And then the second thing is they still have not been able to repeal healthcare reform. And when you get deeper into the rollout of the 10-year plan of healthcare reform, even though there have been a lot of delays, you start to get to universal healthcare standards, universal billing and medical codes, and it's the after show that will completely fuck up our healthcare industry when you start doing that. So they're not going to be able to make money over there. Yeah. So they got to figure out how they can make money over here. So this thing that they've taken and they've criminalized, they now have to figure out how to enterprise in order to be able to keep the economy stable if they cannot repeal healthcare reform. Because once we stabilize and say you can only charge this much for an MRI, you can only charge this much for tier 3 pharmaceuticals, those carriers ain't making no money no more. We gonna have our economy if we.
Oh, you broke up a little bit there.
I missed the end.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
yeah,
we got 4 minutes, but
4 minutes.
So we could get so deep on that. So yeah, that said,
we can, because I just saw that Dame Dash interview on it.
I do enjoy a good CBD cookie every once and again, a little CBD brownie, it's mellow.
Listen.
It is what it is. And quite frankly, I find that the more and more I hang around with other people, everybody's dabbling just a bit. A little smoke here, a little edible here before the party. So I'm in good company. It's all good. So the cat's out of bag. I keep edibles. In fact, there are 2 upstairs right now. I might indulge after I get off here. Thank you, Paul.
We should do another after show. We should do an after show that's not recorded.
Let's get mellow. Let's see how Janine gets when she gets here.
But no, it's great. I'm glad I got to talk with you, ladies, brilliant ladies. Super honored once again.
So next week, we're all on the cocooning stuff, which you guys probably like, what the hell is that? But I'll explain, and we'll have a great conversation about it. But thank you for being here.
Everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we will see you back here next Thursday. Bye.
All right. Till next time, y'all.
Till next time.